The International Crisis Group falls President Paul Biya, Professor Maurice Kamto, their supporters for tribalizing politics in Cameroon, tribalizing politics and of course engaging in hate speech in a way that will bring the rest of the 8 regions of Cameroon into a crisis worse than what is being experienced in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, a situation that might see more bloodshed and completely bringing Cameroon down. It is contained in its most recent report. Meantime, private school proprietors in Limbe in the Fako division of the southwest region of Cameroon are angry with authorities. They say authorities have so far refused to give protection to their teachers and learners, even at a time when teachers and learners in the 2 Anglophone regions of the country go through challenges, getting to seek knowledge every day as the crisis deepens further. Meantime, preparations are heightening across Cameroon ahead of the regional elections, but the views of others is that the election be postponed. Resolutions given to the Anglophone crisis, adequate solutions before any of such organizations takes place in the country. These are the top stories. Stay with us. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for trusting Équinoxe Television. We are live from Équinoxe Central News Desk in Douala, Cameroon's economic capital city. The primetime news. We are 6 p.m. in Douala in the Republic of Cameroon and 5 p.m. is the time in Kumasi, Ghana. That is the West African time. And we begin with our top stories, or rather, we take you to a murder case in the central region of Cameroon, where a young girl, 24, has been intercepted. Officials of the defense and security accused the lady of having masterminded the killing of an individual. The lady and the group of individuals who accompanied her killed the man, took away his vehicle and money, but unfortunately fell into the dragnet of elements of the National Gendarmerie. Smart Njikange tells us more.
On the 22nd of November 2020, when Miss Dorcas filmed the contact number on this vehicle that was meant to be sold. The next day, Dorcas appeared as a potential buyer, but then, after their first contact, both decided to get into a relationship. Unfortunately, November 25th, when both had an appointment to sleep out in a hotel facility, Dorcas poisoned the drink he gave to Mr. Yamsi after the latter was made to go out of the hotel room in search of toiletries because Dorcas requested for them. It was thanks to the telephone of the late Yamsi that the elements of the Gendarmerie Research Unit in Mimboman laid their hands on these 3 accused persons. While in the hands of the security forces, Dorcas confessed that her aim was not to kill Yamsi. Unfortunately, it happened. Her reason for poisoning the drink she gave to Yamsi, as she puts it, was for her to take away the car and sell, then later travel out of the country. Dorcas, knowing that she can't drive, called her friend Marie-Yvonne Biwole, who came with her brother-in-law, Ondwa Christopher, who was to serve as the driver to take away the vehicle. The lifeless body of Yamsi is undergoing an autopsy test. The accused are behind bars at the Gendarmerie Research Unit of Mimboman while waiting for their transfer to the competent authorities for judgment to be carried on.
Supporters of President Paul Biya, supporters of Maurice Kamto, national president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement political party, are responsible for the growing hate speech in Cameroon. They have engaged in politics based on tribal lines. This is the content of the declaration of the International Crisis Group, which is blaming the camps of the key personalities in Cameroon for fueling the socio-political tensions in the country, warning that it will bring Cameroon into a situation worse than what is being experienced in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. And if that is the case, the whole country will fall.
National Crisis Group in its December 3rd report says Cameroon's national stability, already rocked by the armed conflict in the two English-speaking regions, is at the same time being ramshackled by tensions between President Paul Biya and Maurice Kamto as they two worlds along ethnic lines. These trends risk tear at Cameroon's national fabric, with more bloodshed likely if the government takes no corrective plan. For matters to better, the International Crisis Group (ICG) wants governments to enter talks with its opponents about the electoral system and move to make that system fairer. Pressure from influential powers and unions like United States, France, the EU, and European countries will push for electoral reform. That government should introduce legislation barring ethnic discrimination and empower the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism to enforce quotas for the country's many ethnic groups in public. With regards to organization of the regional election December 6th, in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic, ICG knows government has only helped to exacerbate tensions. ICG is equally concerned with the way social media, especially Facebook, is used by both parties. That the Cameroonian politicians and the public are making more use of social media to press home their messaging and their views. While the growth of social media has been a boon for free speech, the sector is weakly regulated. Activists of all political persuasions use it to propagate misinformation, widen ethnic divides, and even incite violence. Inflammatory content online pitting Bulu and Betty against Bamileke has increased tensions. According to ICG, any action the government takes in the name of curbing hate speech is usually smoke screen for repressing its opponents. It adds the opposition on its part has done little to moderate its supporters' tone and instead blames the government for tribalizing politics to sow division amongst Cameroonians who oppose President Paul Biya. ICG also blames Facebook for not devoting adequate resources to stop toxic online discourse. ICG concludes that President Paul Biya should be wary of leaving behind a country riven apart not only by fighting and mounting separatist sentiment, but also by wider tensions endangering Cameroon's historically relatively amicable inter-ethnic relations. That acting now to mend fences with his opponents and cooperating with Facebook to stem hate speech would go some way towards minimizing that risk.
And after the November 4th attack on Kulu Memorial College in Limbe in the Fakwa of the southwest region of Cameroon, school authorities are facing enormous challenges. According to the proprietor of Kulu Memorial College, officials in Limbe ask that they move students and teachers to a temporary site, forcing them out of their permanent site where they were attacked, and went further to indicate to our correspondent in Limbe, Davidson Maimu, that the much needed security support demanded of officials of that part of the Fako in the southwest region has not been granted. Davidson Maimu also says some private school officials are complaining, and they say there is some sort of discrimination in according security officials to public and private schools in the conflict-hit Anglophone regions of Cameroon. His report.
Weeks after unidentified gunmen, purported to be Anglophone separatist fighters, attacked, molested, and dehumanized teachers and students of Kulu Memorial Comprehensive High School in Limbe, the doors of the school permanent site has been shut down temporarily, as explained by the principal.
We should not continue in the site. Unknown armed men can be in the bush, things like that, and the militaries are overstressed, so they will not be able to be sending soldiers to come and guard the school. Who are we, or who is Kulu to oppose government others.
The decision has raised eyebrows if state security to protect learning institutions in the northwest and southwest regions following the ongoing Anglophone armed conflict is meant for public and selectively private schools. Duolanje is a proprietor.
Government has everything to protect. Now when they discover something like this had happened, that is their work. They're supposed to do their work.
The non-provision of state security pushed the school authorities to relocate to a temporary site.
We cannot keep the students waiting. So we have rented a place at my 4. That's where we have all the students.
They might start timidly, as usual. School will not shut down. We are doing everything humanly possible.
The November 4th incident has had a devastating blow on the school enrollment, as some teachers and students are yet to recover from the psychological trauma they were subjected to. Reason why some ex-students visited the school to encourage them.
There's no person that does not face challenges. Challenges come for great people.
We are just here to encourage them and to tell them that there are better days ahead.
After media and security report, Yaoundé dispatched some persons to the school whose reaction is still awaiting.
Another issue dividing Cameroonians is the December 6th regional elections in the country. A great number of opposition political parties in Cameroon are boycotting the elections. It should be recalled that not up to 10 political parties in the country are participating out of the over 250 legalized political parties. However, those participating and the organizers, that is the election governing body in Cameroon, Lekam, are moving ahead for the elections to come in less than 3 days. And of course, other officials, notably in the Indian division or councillors of the 9 subdivisions that make up the Indian division of the southwest region of Cameroon, and traditional rulers of the House of Chiefs on their part began arriving Mundemba, which is the chief town of the Indian division of the country, one of first to officially close the campaigns this Friday, and secondly to get set for Sunday regional elections. The senior divisional officer, or rather it should be recalled that the oil-rich Indian division of the southwest region of Cameroon has had its own specificities. The population of the Indian division hold that their division needs to be constructed and not reconstructed, for the division, according to them, has never been constructed, and the coming of regional elections to be implemented with the putting in place of the House to speed the decentralization process is widely believed that we'll see the troubles of Indian division being gradually wiped away. The Cameroon Prime Minister, Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute, should be recalled, is from the Indian division of the southwest region of Cameroon. The senior divisional officer for the Indian division, on his part, has assured the councillors and Lekam officials of maximum security. Foran Lawrence spoke to our correspondent, Derek Jato, who is on special assignment to Bundemba, chief town of the southwest region.
I want to assure the Cameroonian community and the world at large that we are fully prepared in Indian division. Enough security measures have been taken before today, and those measures will be in place till after the election. I also want to say that as there is only one list for the House of Chiefs and for the regional house. The homologated chiefs of Indian division have already converged at the divisional headquarters, that is Mundemba, before this day. And I want to say that it was an easy task to convey them to Mundemba, because of the fact that most of these chiefs are resident within their palaces or within their subdivisions. However, we have some few of them who are civil servants who are resident out of Mundemba. For the municipal councillors of the 9 councils, they too are also in Mundemba, as you know, where the elections are going to take place on Sunday. It was also an easy thing to convey them to Mundemba, because most of these municipal councillors are resident within their municipality. However, for the fear of the unknown, I have decided to catch all the municipal councillors and homologated chiefs coming out of Mundemba in specific localities that I will not want to cite here for security reasons. But on the other hand, I am calling on these municipal councillors and the homologated chief who just arrived Mundemba to not be taken away, to know that someone's security first of all depend on him, and that they should comport themselves in a dignified way as they have always been doing. And that I will not hesitate, I will not hesitate to declare a lockdown on these chiefs and municipal councillors, and only release them. I use the word, and only liberate them or release them in quote on this the morning of the 6th, to permit them go and perform their civic duties, and after that they return to their various municipalities and palaces.
Fowan Lawrence, Senior Divisional Officer for the Indian Division of the Southwest Region of Cameroon. He was speaking to our correspondent, Derek Jato, who is on special assignment to Mundemba. And I will stay in the Anglophone regions of Cameroon to talk the devastating impact of the armed conflict that has been raging on for over 3 years now. And a case in point is Ndu subdivision, considered as the economic heartbeat of the Donga Mantung division. The Ndu subdivision had the negative impact of the Anglophone crisis with repeated confrontations. But however, the mayor, speaking during the 2021 budgetary session, said things are getting back to the Ndu council under a normal pace, reasons why they had to vote a budget of over 1 billion for 2021 for Ndu. Charles Ikume tells us more.
It's by confrontations, abductions, burnings and destructions within the context of the armed conflicts in the two Anglophone regions of Cameroon, Ndu subdivision almost lost its status as the economic capital of Ndonga Mantung division in the northwest region. Regretting the impact of the conflict on the municipality, the senior divisional officer for Donga Mantung said the crisis and the destruction came to Ndu because of its proximity to trouble-prone areas.
Which corrupted Ndu were so close to areas that believe that there is no authority, that believe that we should all become the graveyard. I want to believe that proximity also corrupted. In fact, Ndu, which is the gateway to Donga Mantung, and equally the exit way from Donga Mantung. Why did this happen to us?
Speaking during the Ndu Council 2021 budgeting session, the senior divisional officer, Mr. Simon Quenti, said he was happy with the new council executive, which has mustered courage to bring Ndu back on its feet.
When I took up service in this division, I said I was very happy to be in Ndu, because Ndu is to Donga Mantung as Douala is to Cameroon. This is the economic hub of the division, but today we have only our eyes to cry on lost glory. Why did we copy things that are no longer applicable in our modern day? There's no need to dance this dance of disorder. Does this subdivision need to copy wrong things that will lead to their own destruction? I want to thank this executive because from the blues you shouted loud and clear that you are not part of the disorder. I know some of you paid dearly when your names featured on the electoral list.
To the mayor of Ndu, Alhaji Abdul Kanfombono, the Ndu council budget has been voted at over 1 billion for the first time since the start of the Anglophone crisis.
You know, before now, Ndu council used to have a budget of that amount, and because of the crisis, we dropped to 600 millions, and then 700 and then 600 million. But today we have a budget that is slightly above 1 billion, and I think we are going to realize this budget because, you know, normalcy has gradually returned to Ndu municipality, and we have a lot of revenue that we can collect, funds that will finance our activities.
The mayor says no taxes will be added on taxpayers in Ndu, and the finances once collected will be directed mainly on providing electricity, portable water, and adequate road network in the municipality.
And in a related story, close to 1 billion francs CFA has been voted as the 2021 budget for the Kame Council still in the Donga Mountain Division of the Northwest region of Cameroon. Councillors have, however, expressed determination to see that the finances are collected to be implemented for the activities of the municipality. And we stay now in Do to talk about the civic reception ceremony given to the mayor of Ndu Abdukan from Borno and the honorable member of parliament for Ndu, Honorable Ngando Naomi, who officially presented their portfolios to the people of Ndu and the fund of Ndu alongside other traditional rulers of the municipality, 5 in number, who all converged at the Ndu Funds Palace. Since their election this year in February, they were officially presented to the fund and the population as the mayor of the Ndu Council and the honorable member of parliament for the Ndu constituency. And of course, the population also urged them to be good ambassadors to work in collaboration with the population and see that development is of a better pace in the municipality and the constituency. Away from that, we talk another council session which is also witnessing the devastating effects of the armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. Of about slightly over $500 million has been voted as the budget for the Bamenda 3 Council. The Anglophone crisis, which has so far accumulated works to be executed by the Bamenda 3 Council in the northwest region of the country. Reasons why the council, during its budgetary session for the 2021, voted some 608 million francs CFA as its budget for 2021, a budget that witnessed a slight increase, as Innocent has tells us in the following report.
The population of the Bamenda 3 subdivision under Mayor Fongokleto Stanui still look up to the administrator and his team to free them from electricity crisis, dusty seasonal roads, traffic jam around Maifonkwen, chronic water crisis, and from drop in their living standards posed by the socio-political impasse.
We have designed it to meet up with road infrastructure to decongest Maifo Junction. So there's a bypass that we have envisaged that will tar it next year so that Maifo Junction can be free and circulation can be good. Among others, we are going to also construct a good number of bridges, improve on some earth roads in Tila Kwata, in Nza, in around Damukong, Mambo area. Manka, Manda, Taken, and as well water. So these projects and more have been put forth, and we think that we are going to work hard to realize our revenue so that we can be able to meet up with the aspirations of the people.
Fongo Kletus, who is the last SGF standing mayor in Bamenda, proved during the Bamenda 3 budgetary session for 2021, he did not listen to the people's worries with deaf ears. 608 million francs CFA is the budget envisaged for these projects and others come 2021.
I think the budget for the Bamenda 3 Council for the fiscal 2021 have been carefully streamlined to meet the demands of the population and to alleviate poverty and to improve on the living condition of the people. We have targeted some environmental projects like greening our streets with all major streets with trees and so on. We have equally targeted reviving of our culture by organizing annual cultural festivals that will revoke some of those aspects of the culture that are giving way.
Regarding the 608 million francs CFA budget that witnessed an increase of 6 million francs CFA from the 2020 budget that stood at the tune of 602 million francs CFA, a lot needs to be done in the municipality. However, the councillors were disgruntled with the manner contractors handled some envisaged projects last year.
I'm crying this day in, day out. It is here, it is on page 2, my Lord Mayor. They are telling us every day that that road has not been received. What magic do we need to make for that road to be received so that it can be repaired for people to use. It's going down to our only market. Go there now and see the level of depreciation, Lord Mayor.
The company did not respect their time frame, because if they had respected, we would have noticed on time that the transformer was not in place. Why are they saying the transformer is not corresponding? Is because one, where they had to link the light to go to Nza has a different transformer, which is obsolete, as they say, it's no more in the market.
To correct the wrongs of the previous year, the councillors have been tasked to discharge their duties stringently, enhance follow-up, and make use of the youths in the municipality.
If the engineer is not there, the CDO should follow up that particular project because it's very painful.
Nothing about water and energy.
The Anglophone crisis, the coronavirus pandemic, traders or experts say has given rise to another health complication, which is trauma, which is said to be on the rise in Cameroon, and some agencies of the United Nations in a partnership with the Ministry of Public Health in Cameroon together coming up with strategies on how to combat the challenges brought forth by trauma. Derek Jato tells us more from Buya.
The name coronavirus pandemic alone, psychologists say, has given birth to another health problem.
People are afraid to go to the hospital because if I go to the hospital, maybe I can catch COVID and maybe I will die. That fear of dying put people in too much stress.
These experts in mental health also revealed that depression alone kills, and there are some group of people who are more vulnerable.
It's for us, especially for Equinoxe, to bring the psychological care, for the mothers in INC and PNC, antenatal consultation and postnatal consultation, and equally the GBV survivors, victim of violence.
And this is the reason UNFPA, a specialized and reproductive health agency of the United Nations, is stepping in. And today UNFPA is sponsoring other organizations like Equinoxe, a specialized organization in mental health, to better combat this health challenge.
The main sponsor is UNFPA.
When we look at UNFPA, which is the main partner of the Ministry of Public Health, especially in reproductive health, we have a concern on maternal and neonatal mortality, and UNFPA is that partner that is really working in bringing down to at least 70 deaths per 100,000 women.
And in the southwest region, Equinoxe is having two punctures to repair. That is the damages brought by the Anglophone crisis and the COVID-19 pandemic.
If we also see the context of our region, this crisis context, all is put together to make the population be afraid at any time.
This mission is still very challenging, for the generators of this mental health are still active. Here, in the region, the Anglophone crisis on the one hand, and the COVID-19 pandemic on the other.
Still in health, people living with disabilities are asking Cameroonians to create a fair, conducive and a friendly environment for them so they can be able to live with them happily. We are speaking during the commemoration of the World Disability Day in Konsamba in the Mungo division of the Littoral region of Cameroon. Immaculate Fogwe has the rest of the story.
Persons living with disabilities encounter several challenges such as lack of universal access to buildings, stigmatization, and discrimination. In most cases, many of them have been abandoned to themselves. During the commemoration of the 29th edition of the World Disability Day on the theme, "Not all disabilities are visible," members of the Cameroon Blind Union in Konsamba in the Mungo division were drilled on the importance of breaking barriers and not letting their conditions weigh them down. The members benefited from free eye consultation, making it possible for the ophthalmologist to discover some cases that could be treated. But lack of finance remains a major barrier for that breakthrough. A case in point is that of 1-year-old Miren, who is suffering from cataract. Her mother, who is partially blind, expressed her inability to pay for her baby's operation. I was born with this condition. I gave birth to my child and she's equally facing the same problem. I am begging on persons of goodwill to help me because I don't have money to carry out an operation for my baby.
CBO center in Konsamba, and it's a rehabilitation center. So we came here and we discovered that most of the cases we've seen today, we diagnosed them of glaucoma and cataract. So especially the little girl, we saw that little girl today with a congenital cataract. So we asked the mother to come to Bafusam so we can do further examination and see how we can help her operate the child. Because the earlier we do so, the better. So we have also told her to look for something small and come so we can help her with part of the bill and see how we can help the baby.
Despite the distribution of wheelchairs and wide canes so as to ease mobility, a lot more needs to be done so as to encourage the integration of these persons in our society. Disability is not inability.
And that's it for the first part of information. Coming up is talking points. Still with us, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us on Talking Points. We are receiving a medical officer. We're receiving Dr. Kengafak Fobela. He is the district medical officer for Bangem in the Kupe Maninguba of the Southwest region of Cameroon. Doc, thanks for accepting our invitation.
My pleasure always, Mr.
Armstrong. We're glad to have you here.
My pleasure too.
So how was it traveling from Bangem to Douala in the Littoral region?
It was very safe. It will be interesting for the public to know that currently Bangem Melon roads are like 65% tarred now. I mean, those were roads that were horrible, roads that could take like 4 hours a day, you know. But now in just 45 minutes, you can leave Melon to Bangem. So,
just 45 minutes.
Yeah.
What about the security?
Recently, at least it's dying down. You know, we've started having schools, other administrative offices are open, the hospital and other stakeholders and partners are there now. So at least it's getting better.
The runaway doctors, are they back to the Bangem District Hospital?
Yes, we have a number of them. Even the nurses, they're back.
Everyone is present.
Yeah.
And to the structure, I remember sometime we had a disturbing image of the Bangem District Hospital, but recently we had 2 images of the renovation. That is how it was renovated, and some works were done there.
Yeah.
Are you guys still having some challenges?
We always ask for more. We have a problem with staff and human resources, but it's getting better. Currently, the ministry is doing a census on all voluntary workers all over the country, and it goes without delay that most of them will be absorbed into the system.
They are sent to area, and of course we're hoping that they too will be able to accept when they ask to go work in the conflict.
Very important. Very important.
The country. We know most civil servants have not been responding positively when they are sent to these regions. We've had several administrators calling on them to report to work or be sanctioned. Yeah. We thank God for people like you who are sitting there, standing there, and of course working. We want to talk COVID-19 with you. Is COVID still a problem in Bangem?
Since the beginning of the COVID crisis, we had like 6 cases and all have recovered.
All right, 6 cases in Bangem.
Yeah, in the health district, and all have recovered.
The health district.
Yes, no deaths.
Yes.
Yeah. We know 3 weeks ago, here in Douala, we had, some sort of re-emergence of the COVID, and we had like 300 cases in a week. We pray it doesn't get to us, it doesn't get to the other regions, but we just hold on people to keep on seeing their preventive measures. COVID is not over. You can watch the news, you watch international news, you watch all over the other countries, you see that COVID is still hitting them big time. So we have to
when COVID was still much an issue. I want to say when we just had the outbreak of the COVID coming to Cameroon, and government actually took measures to get people safe from COVID. Followed a report from Bangem where the DO went to the street and was forcing people to get their mask on to stay safe. It showed that some people were not willing to respect that until they saw the divisional officer. After that, we have some people respecting COVID-19 barrier measures in Bangem. It's not been easy, you know. COVID took the world as a surprise, and you know, to practice putting on masks all the time is not easy, and all the other barrier measures. Sometimes people don't have the means, you know, so working with what the DO did in Bangem, you know, we had to move around, sharing masks, putting tap points, increasing sensitization. We did massive sensitization there, and we just keep on pleading on the public. We are very lucky as Africans. COVID has not hit Africa like we have in the other parts of the continents. If it did, then we'll be really down. So we just keep on praying that people should follow up their preventive measures. But the attitude too counts a lot. And if the attitudes of those in Bangim, they have not changed their ways vis-a-vis COVID, then the second wave of COVID might just go to Bangem. I say so because I saw people being forced to put on their mask. Now, if they are still behaving that way, then we have more reasons to be afraid that we might be having COVID coming back, and even worse in Bangem.
COVID might take a second wave, so that's why we're still sensitizing everyone. You know, COVID is not over. COVID is not over. The airports are open. We're receiving people from all over the world, and you know the massive infectivity of COVID out there. So please keep on continuing your preventive measures so that we don't have a second wave.
Now, away from what the people must do, what have you people been doing at the level of the district to be safe, to be strong, to be ready for COVID if at all it has to come again?
Okay, working in hand in gloves with the Ministry of Public Health and with our regional delegation. Okay, COVID has gone right down to the districts. Okay, the support from the ministry goes right down to the districts, meaning that if you go to any district all over the country right now, I mean, I'm very sure of Southwest, I don't know of the others, but you can do your testing. Everything is free about COVID. If you're positive, you're put on treatment. Most of them have now had isolation centers. We even do home confinement, meaning that if you're infected with COVID with very minimal symptoms, that's the mild stage, you know, you can put on treatment and follow your distance, preventive measures, and you'll be fine. What kills in COVID is when you have comorbidities, for example, diabetic patients, hypertensive patients, you know, and immunocompromised patients. But if you take your preventive measures, COVID won't.
Now, I had a report here last week that the fight against COVID also negatively affected the fight against other health complications like malaria. They also cited HIV and AIDS. Now you are also talking about some health complications that can get matters really bad for somebody who gets to get COVID-19. Now, has the fight against COVID-19 not also affected the fight against these other health complications?
Okay, certainly COVID has affected every sector. Okay, but those procedures and implementations put by the government are still there in place. Okay, you still have the malaria programs, you still have the HIV programs, they're still there and functional. But remember, because of the attitudes of people had stopped going to the hospitals. People were scared. Oh, you go and receive a vaccine at the hospital that will kill you. We had all kind of perceptions. Those things are not true, you know. Currently, 2 days ago in the UK, maybe you must have watched about the Pfizer vaccine. COVID might get a vaccine, but it's not yet so operational. So the perceptions of people are different, and people are still scared. But gradually they're coming to the hospitals, and we're no longer having, because we're having community deaths. Somebody has severe malaria and dies in the community because he's afraid of going to the hospital. COVID has caused lots of scandal, but gradually it's getting better.
All right, now on a general scale, on a larger scale, moving away from Bangem in the Kupi Maningouba division, last week I followed a meeting of district medical officers, if I'm right, of the Southwest region who converge on Buya. Is that correct?
You're right.
With some health officials of the Southwest Regional Delegation of Public Health.
Yeah.
Certainly they get reports of COVID-19 in their areas. Which area is a danger, or which district area, say a division, is still much a major concern in the Southwest region as far as COVID is concerned?
Okay, the borders, actually the borders, you have the Akwayas, the Bakasis, the borders, the borders into Limbe, Idinao,
the Limbes, Idinao,
that's where the danger zones are, because people just come in, we hope they are showing their right test, because before you get into any country, you must show your COVID test within.
Mostly at the level of the airport.
Yeah, it's being screened and checked.
Are we even having this at the borders? We started some little borders, I can put it. Now we have people crossing through Akwaya, people crossing through Tiku, and of course in places that we don't have that tight security to get to check them.
There are people there to check. In that meeting we were there with their district medical officers, and the fact that they are doing testing and we're not having cases, it means at least there's some screening going there. In places where they've actually succeeded in getting the people who are coming in and getting them tested. But we don't have possibilities of people getting in even without being checked. There is a porous border. We're talking about the Southwest region of Cameroon, starting from the Fako to the Indian and over to the Manu division. Very possible.
Neighboring Nigeria.
Yeah, it's possible. That's why no matter what you do, you can, especially an infection that is a droplet and an airborne per se, is difficult to have the borders really tight.
And of course, we also had challenges of people raising concerns of now COVID, phones, mismanaged COVID issues. Those now you talked about the fact that most of these things have been decentralized. We also have some of these challenges getting to manage things that were sent for COVID. At one point in time, maybe they are not there or they are not properly managed.
I think if the right things reach the right resources, the right sources, actually they'll really be managed, and I think that's one of the reasons the minister thought it wise to decentralize as much as he could. And with the current regional elections per se, we know it's going to go right down and right deep.
All right. All right, now from COVID, you've actually explained and the situation of your area. I want you to go back to your area, Bangem. What are some of these challenges that are still there and stubborn to go, considering the Anglophone crisis, considering the rural area, which Bangem is a chief town? What are some of the health challenges now, major ones, when we want to talk aside COVID?
Okay, we still have diabetes as a major challenge. Last week I received a child with type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes occurs in children. The child was like 12 years old, and the child was just losing weight, having polyuria and all that, and the child has been suffering like that for about 2 years. It's just God willing that the child had to come to the hospital, and the child had been in the remote areas for long, because of the crisis, the challenges of moving around. But luckily the child is picking up. So we still have some of those diseases that were in the communities and are now gradually coming to the hospital.
Doc, we have the government taking special measures to say, like, okay, let's get people, learners in the crisis hit regions to come back to school. We can assist them with regards to how much to get to pay their school fees with finances, didactic materials, and so on. Now, the level of the districts, do we have some considerations to these people that are having the negative impacts of the Anglophone crisis? Say some have been in the bushes, they didn't have the means to come out, either afraid or because of the challenges to travel, and now they are having some complications and they come. Do they have some considerations?
Yeah, wonderful considerations. In fact, at the level of the district, we now have what they call a project for IDPs. Okay, you know, if you present yourself to any facility that you're an IDP, the government takes charge, especially with comorbidities like malaria, HIV, and all that. The government takes charge and you really help out and try to see that they meet out the needs of those people.
The districts in the northwest and southwest or all over Cameroon?
I can't say per se, but I'm talking about southwest, so I'm very versed with. Yeah.
All right. He is Dr. Kengafak Fobela, District Medical Officer for Bangem. Bangem is in the Kupe Maningwa division of the southwest region of Cameroon. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for being with us, Doc. It was an interesting chat with you.
My pleasure, Mr. Armstrong.
And so stay in the company of interesting programs on Equinoxe Television. Have a nice weekend.